Right. Good evening. Good evening. Good. Okay. Yes. Again, good evening, everyone. Welcome to LiCo Wellness webinar every Tuesday. Right. I'm Jeannie. I'm going to be sharing with you today on our LiCo book club. So this is our regular meetup. We meet every Tuesday evening to learn a topic about health, about fitness, to practice healthy lifestyle together. All right. So this session is also live streaming on YouTube. So if you have friends who missed this, do check with us for the link so that you can share this with your friends as well. Of course, if you think that your friends can benefit from the reminder about scientific, science-based nutrition knowledge and fitness knowledge, do bring them into the community. Do come and learn together with us. All right. So let me bring up my slides. Gonna start in a minute. Right. You can see my slides, right? Okay. All right. All right. Thanks, Cynthia. All right. So I know that there was some issue with the link just now. So people might be slowly coming in, but it's okay. Let's get started. So, to respect your time. Again, my name is Jeannie. I'm a certified personal trainer and a yoga teacher, also in the area of diet and nutrition for over past 10 years. And today we're going to talk about powering through everyday workout. Why is it important to work out and how to power up through workout, right? Okay, so let's get started. So just me, right? Why do we have the intention to talk about this topic is because many people train without understanding what's happening to their body actually, right? So run since everybody is running, I also go run or brisk walk, etc. But what do we want to do actually? What do we want to achieve by working out, right? So that's the questions. And even more people do not exercise, right? So this is the even more challenging part because many friends will say that I don't have time, I don't have the energy, they don't exercise at all. So today we'll talk about the different muscle types, why is it important, and how to improve muscle mass and also strength. These are the two things that we'll be talking about. In our following sessions, we'll be talking about cardiovascular health and heart health. That is also an important part of the workout, but today we are going to focus just on muscles, more on muscles. Right. So personally, I believe that exercise is one of the most potent, most important pillars for health and fitness. It's the most potent um, intervention that you can do to your health span and lifespan better than any medication can do. Right? So to me, this is very important and it's something that close to my heart. But okay, I only started exercise about 5 to 6 years ago, right before COVID time. Um, we enter a training called the Fit Freak program. This is actually a fitness coach training program by our business system, ECVI. And from there, I really learned about the real or the right way of training and to understand more about muscles, about energy systems, and all that. So that totally changed my outlook for exercise, right? Although I've been in diet nutrition for over the last 15 years, over 10 years, but I didn't really focus much on exercise, right? Like many people. Okay. So now that I've got a better understanding and with that interest, I went on to take my certified personal trainer and yoga teacher training. That gives me even more understanding, I think, understand more about fitness. So there are three types of muscles generally in our body. There are three types of different muscle cells. One is the cardiac, which is only in the heart, right? This is our cardiac muscles here. And then we have the smooth muscle, which is in our intestine. right? So cardiac is in our heart, is the one type. Smooth muscle is in our intestine. Blood vessels, these are all the internal organs that we can't see and cannot control. The only muscles that we can control are the skeletal muscle. So this is the muscles that you can train. You can move the bones, you can support your posture to sit up straight. These are the muscles that we have control over. So that's important that we know how to differentiate the different types of muscles. And out of our skeletal muscles, there are also two types, or three types actually. Type 1, type 2A, and type 2B. So you can see on the left, right, this is 2A and 2B. They are the fast twitch fiber. They move very quickly. They're anaerobic because they can be recruited very quickly to use. They don't need a lot of oxygen. Because of that, they are pale in color, they have low blood supply, and they fatigue very quickly. Just like thinking about this. For example, right, if you bring your arms up and down like this, right? Don't need to carry anything, just up and down. After maybe a minute or two, you get fatigued already because you are using the fast twitch muscle, right, to do this. But the slow twitch muscles are actually aerobic. They are red in color, they are smaller in size, and they need a lot of blood supply to give them the energy. And they fatigue slowly. Thinking about walking, right? We might be able to walk for hours and hours. We are still okay. So that we use the slow twitching muscles. So like a sprinter, if you're sprinting on 100 meters very fast, then it's a fast twitch fiber that we are using. Whereas for a marathoner who needs to run for 2-3 hours, definitely the slow twitch, which fatigue slowly. So understanding these two types, right, will give us the, so yeah, this is the same picture, same thing, two types. The one that is slow twitch use a lot more oxygen. That's why it's more red in color. The fast twitching one is slow, use less oxygen, which that's why it's more pale. It's more for power, speed, and it fatigue very quickly actually, right? So then what's the difference now? Okay, so when we do a lot of endurance exercise, meaning if we do long walks, slow jogs over hours and hours, we'll be using the type 1 muscle, right? They don't have a very much initial power. They are not able to make you sprint, but they can stay active very long. Like for example, if we go hiking, we ever go hiking for 3 hours, right? You know, LiCo fun walk, some of the LiCo fun walk, we walk for 3 hours. So we are using the type 1 fibers. Whereas type 2 would be, for example, the MRT door is closing already, we got to sprint to it, or chasing a bus, right? Carrying something heavy, bring up something heavy from the floor up. These are all type 2 muscles that we need to use. We need strength, right? We need strength. So how do we train them? The same way. If you want to train more of your type 1 fiber, you do endurance exercise, which is, for example, zone 2 jog, your slow jog, or hiking, walking, all that. Whereas for the type 2 fiber, you need to do strength exercise, explosive short burst exercise. For example, jump. Jumping is a very good example, right? So that is our type 2 muscles. So then the questions actually ask, right, as we age, since some of our audience here are actually towards above 40 years old, so we're talking about aging, right? Age-related loss of muscle mass and function. Is it normal, right? Is it normal for people to lose muscle mass and function as we age? So what is your answer? Is it normal? You can put 1 if you think that is normal. If you can put 2 if it's not normal. All right, losing muscle mass or going into sarcopenia. Is it normal or not? Right, so it's something that you can consider. Okay, so research used to say that it's normal as we age, we lose muscle mass. Okay, you whole say that it's 1. All right, it's normal to lose muscle mass. All right, but then again, when researchers go back and look into the literature again, the literature is done on the epidemiology, meaning the literature is done, the research is done on observing people as they age, right? So they may gather a group of people and measure their muscles at 30 years old, at 40 years old, at 50 and 60. So we know that 30 to 40, there's a very slow reduction in muscle mass, about 1% per year. So optimal or maximum muscles is about at 30 years old. Okay, and then by 40 years old, slowly drop. 40 to 50, it dropped further, and 50 to 60, it dropped further, and so on and so forth. But the researchers realized that when these people that the researchers are observed, more than 70% of them are people who are on sedentary lifestyle. They are sitting down most of the time. If they can sit, they won't stand up. If they can stand, they won't walk. You know, that kind of people, which I think quite identical to our lifestyle, right? Many of the lifestyle in Singapore, in Malaysia is like this, right? Very sedentary. As long as we work in the office, we'll be sitting down at least 10 hours a day, right? Because of that, there is a muscle loss. So more and more the researchers are pointing towards the losing of muscle mass and strength is not because of age, but it's because of the severe underuse, or they call it chronic underuse. That is why we are losing the muscle mass. Make sense? Think about it, right? I just had a 6-year-old kid who came to me, and if you look at a 6-year-old kid, or for that matter, a 3-year-old kid, do they walk? No, they seldom walk, they run, right? They'll be bouncing and running most of the time. Then a lot of time you'll be telling them, hey, 不要跑, don't run, walk slowly. Because they are so energetic, they can use their energy so well that they'll be like jumping and bouncing all the time. Do you see a 30, 40-year-old jumping and bouncing when they walk or not? Probably not, right? In fact, many of us are doing this self-fulfilling prophecy, telling ourselves that I'm old already, don't walk so fast. I'm old already. The next house, or in fact, all the HDB, I must make sure that there's a lift coming to my doorsteps, right? I want to park the car close as possible so that we don't exert so much energy. We conserve our energy for what? Right? The problem with muscle is that if we don't use it, we'll lose it. Okay? So I think this is it. All right. So this is a Yishun study. This is Singapore, okay, a local study. 1 in 3 people 60 years and above, and 6.9% of the younger middle age Singaporean have sarcopenia. This is not a small number, huh? 21 to 60-year-old. So they can't even be called old at all. But already close to 70% has sarcopenia, meaning low muscle mass and strength. All right, and 1 in 3 for those above 60-year-old. So that is really quite, hello, quite a challenging number, right? So low muscle mass and strength in Singapore is a challenge, is an issue. Why is it an issue? Just have lesser muscle mass, ma. So what happened? What's so bad about it, right? The problem is if we don't build enough muscle at an early age, we know that 30 to 40 it slowly go down and further down and further down. If we don't build enough, and if we live long enough, it will go down to a certain point that it reached the disability threshold, meaning we don't even have enough muscle mass to bring ourselves up, sitting, standing, walking, and doing all these daily things that we take it for granted. Okay, so it's important, number 1, to build enough muscle mass. Number 2, of course, to slow down the reduction. We know that it's going to reduce. Yes, with age. Why it reduce? Because number 1, our body will be breaking down more than it can build up. The absorptions will not be so good, even if we take the same amount of protein, right? And etc., right? But what we want to do is really to build enough, if we are still below 30 years old, build more muscle mass, and we want the green line rather than the red line, in other words, right? We want to have a healthy lifestyle, eat well, so that we maintain the muscle mass. And just the question that I asked you, if you were to live till 90 years old, you think how many people in the whole world that's 90, 100 years old that wish that they have less muscle mass? Have or not? Anyone will say that I think I want to have less muscle mass. I've got too much muscle. No such thing. It's totally zero, right? You cannot have too much muscle mass as you age because naturally we'll be losing it. So it's even more important to maximize it as we are younger and to maintain it as we grow older. So very simple. Before I start working out some maybe 5, 6 years ago, I'll definitely have more muscle mass now. Although I'm 5 years older, but my muscle mass now compared to 5, 6 years ago is definitely more, right? So that actually also shows that age is just a number. It's not just about the age, but it's about what do we do to maintain that muscle mass and strength. Okay, so that was the MRI done. This 2011 studies actually shocked a lot of people online. This is a 40-year-old triathlon. Okay, triathlete actually they do the sorry, run, swim, and cycling exercise, right? So you can see that this is the bone. The white part in the middle is the bone, and then this is the muscle. And you can see that the white part is the subcutaneous fats. So it's the fats under the skin because it's a triathlon, it's an athlete. So you can see that there's not much fats actually, right? Compared to a 74-year-old sedentary man. See what happened. This is still the bone, but what happened to the muscle? Muscle has gone down so much, it's all eaten by the fats already. So you can see that if this 40-year-old versus 70 is what happened from a prime rib become Wagyu beef, right? Isn't it look like Wagyu, So all the fats start coming in. It might be very nice if we eat the Wagyu beef, but it won't be very nice on our body because the strength really deteriorate a lot. So then you would ask, isn't this study proof that as you age, you're actually losing muscle mass? It's something that we cannot do anything about? No. If you look at a 70-year-old triathlon, which means a 70-year-old person but still exercise regularly, look at the muscle. And the subcutaneous fat is even lower than the 40-year-old, right? So it's not that it's not possible. Doesn't mean that as we age, we'll definitely lose muscle mass, lose strength, lose energy. We don't have to. Okay, and of course you might say that this is the exceptional case lah. How many people can run, cycle, and swim at 70 years old, right? But we don't have to aim to be like a 70-year-old triathlon, but we can be 70% of that, 80% of that. It's still better than this, right? Anything below this is still better than this. What we're trying to avoid is really to have the adipose tissues, to have the fat so much that the body first of all lose a lot of strength and lose a lot of metabolism strength as well. So the metabolic health will also be affected. This one in the next talk we'll be talking more. But what happened when we lose strength? What happened when we don't have strength, right? So what actually caused the reduction of the muscle? First of all, okay, normal sarcopenia, normal reduction of muscle is because of anabolic resistance, meaning as we age, the body cannot build muscle as fast as when we were younger. Decreased protein synthesis, the body also cannot absorb protein so much and make use of it so much. Decreased anabolic hormones, our growth hormones will be lower as well, will be able to build so much. Impaired vascular response, the blood vessel is not as strong as when we were younger. So there are a lot of reasons why there's a natural reduction in muscle mass. But there are more factors that actually accelerating it, which don't have to. For example, illness. So sickness, we know, for example, if you were sick and you can't exercise for 3 months, you definitely see a muscle decline. Okay, muscle definitely come down. Hospitalizations, yes, when you cannot move. Insulin resistance will also decline our muscle as well. Increase inflammation. Then very important one is actually protein malnutrition. This is also one of the reasons why not having enough protein can cause the muscles to break down even faster and even more. Right? So while there are factors that we cannot control, for example, anabolic resistance as we age, the body will not break down more than it builds, for example. But more importantly, we want to prevent all this illness, hospitalizations, protein malnutrition. All these are within our control, so we can do what we can do about it, right? So having muscle mass, right, is not just about looking good, so showing your bicep or tricep is definitely not that. I think none of us in the talk, okay, if you disagree, you can put up your hand, or you can put it in the chat that you want to be the Mr. Don't know Singapore, or the bodybuilder. We are not aiming for that, but we are just normal people, need the muscle in our day-to-day life. Because so many friends tell me that right now they have no time to exercise, but they want to go and see the world after they retire. This is a scary thing, right? What I will always stir them to think is that what makes you think that you still have the energy to do that? You still have the fitness, you still have the muscle mass to bring you through that journey after retirement if we don't start now to preserve it. Because we know that muscle mass will just go down with age if we don't do anything about it, right? Okay, so we just want to maintain so that we can be healthy and we can be active throughout. All right, so why is it healthy muscle mass important as we age? This is the main one. If you go to hospital, many of the bed, you will see that this sign say fall risk, right? If you observant, you can see that the fall risk, usually they will put a tree, right? Say that fall risk, meaning this person has a risk of fall. And fall is a major health concern for older adults, affecting 1 in 3 seniors yearly. So if you have family members who are above 65 years old, 1 in 3 will have a fall every year, right? And if a person above 65 were to experience a fall, 15 to 30% of them will not be able to live for the next 12 months. They won't live beyond the next 12 months, right? I think recently we also know of a case as well, Cai Lan, who is one of the famous author and also TV producer, film producer. He fell because when he was running at home, actually trying to save the wife who fell, right? So he fell himself as well. So broke his hip bone, and just within a year he passed away. He just passed away couple of weeks ago, right? So this is a very real thing. If a person above 65-year-old break the hip bone or the femur, which is the big bone, the thigh bone, 15 to 30% of them will pass away within 12 months. And even for those who survive, 50% of them cannot go back to their activities before. They cannot do the activities that they used to be able to do. Either they'll be bedridden or wheelchair bound, which really affect that quality of life, right? I think that's a very important thing. So, and the top cause of injury related death for elderly is also fall. And most of the fall is actually happening at home. So we actually got to be very careful to prevent. So high fall risk is important. It's an important factor. At least 20% of older adults in Singapore fall, right, once a year. And the injury related death, this is what I said just now, is actually high. So what's the risk factor? The risk factor is actually the loss of muscle mass and balance. Of course, vision is also another one that deteriorate with age, right? Increasing the likelihood of fall as well. Because cannot see very well, right? Vision. But more importantly is muscle mass. Because the type 2 muscles, the fast twitch muscles, which actually can move very fast, actually can stop us from our fall. So if you think about people who fall, usually people fall when they walk up or when they walk down. People usually fall when they walk up the steps or walk down. It's usually down, right? When they're trying to down, the body not able to stop themselves, then they fall, right? So it's not the eccentric, but it's actually the stoppage, right? That's why in our workout, we also teach to we also do the workout to actually catch our own fall. We want to prevent fall, so they want to be able to catch our own fall as well. And of course, balancing is also important, right? So this was a video that just was very hot online, a couple of days ago. This was actually a run happening in US. So this girl, right? Maybe I could show you the video. Oh, okay. She was very fast. She was the fastest actually, but she was actually tripped. Okay, tripped. But she did two somersault and still finished the race number one. Right? So when you trip, right? When you trip, what will you do? Do you have does your body have the mechanism to protect yourself? Right? I think that's the thing that we want to carry out. We want to discuss, we want to talk about. You don't want to hurt yourself. Okay? So that is why we always recommend strength training, which is contrary to a lot of many ladies don't like to do strength training, but only strength training can help to build and maintain our lean muscle mass, increase our metabolism, support bones and joints, protect um protect against injury, all right, and also is critical for longevity and independence living, right? So this is the minimal that we need. Okay, to protect us against injury is very critical for longevity. So that's very important to do our strength training. And how much strength training do we need? Minimal 2 to 3 sessions per week, 30 to 45 minutes per session. Right? The 2 to 3 sessions hopefully is not consecutive day. You don't want to do it back to back because you want time, at least 24 to 48 hours for the muscles to recover, which is very, very important. So 2 to 3 sessions, 30 to 45 minutes. Is it difficult? Is it a lot? I don't think it's a lot. So we try to do compound exercise or movement as much as we can. So we can do a squat or we can do a goblin squat whereby we hold our weights as well, squat, and then we work a bit on our upper body at the same time. Deadlift or hip hinge, push, like push up, pull. So we have our row, right? We just did that over on Saturday workout. And of course, core, which we always do, the plank, the leg raises, and the push-up, right? So these are the basic exercise that you can do at home with or even without any equipment. You don't need anything. You probably just need a yoga mat, right? To cushion, and then you can do this already. 2 to 3 times a week, 30 to 40 minutes. And how much reps? 2 to 3 reps per exercise. And 6 to 12 repetition per set. So you do your squat, for example, we always count 12 reps and then we rest for half a minute to 1 minute, and then we do again, and so on and so forth. So in 45 minutes, we'll be able to do about 30 sets of work. Okay, 30 sets of good, 30 sets. Yes, about 30 sets of good workout, and the form is important. So if you still don't know how to do, you still haven't started your strength workout, do join us. Let me see. Yes, do join us for our team workout every Monday night, 7:30 to 8:30, either online or at Choa Chu Kang. Friday and Saturday will be 9:15 to 10:15 a.m. at Tampines or also online. So all these are the free workouts that we run in the community. And of course, if you are not near us, you can join us online as well. We will do half of the workout will be strength. So you get a good 30 minutes at least of your strength workout, then followed by cardio. I'll be talking about cardio workout and the benefits of it, how to do, how much to do in our next session, all right? So today we're just going to focus on strength. And the important few tips about strength is progressive overload is important. You have to gradually increase, whether increase the resistance, increase the reps, or increase the sets. What does that mean? Resistance means your dumbbell, if used to be 2 kg, maybe after 3 months, you want to increase to 2.5 or 3 kg, and so on and so forth, right? Increase the resistance because it can strain our muscles so that our muscles can work better. Or if you can't, if you only have the 2 kg, then you increase the rep. Instead of 12, let's do 15. Like push up, for example, right? Push up, you can't quite increase the resistance because your weight is your weight, right? So instead of 12, let's do 15. Or instead of 2 sets, let's do 3 sets or 4 sets. All this can overload our workout to train us better. And we can also train close to failure, right, for better stimulus, meaning don't have to count. Just go, push up, just go all the way until you cannot push anymore, then you rest. That's another way, right? And don't skip the legs. Legs workout are important. Why? Because lower body account for 2/3 of our muscles in our whole body, right? And of course, we need the lower body so much that it has to carry us, walk all around. Carrying us to walk, to run, our lower body strength is very important, right? And if you do squat, you will feel that your heart will really be pumping, because we know that the legs are our second heart, right? So that really works our cardio as well. And recovery is even more important. Okay, so recovery, we are talking about sufficient protein, sleep, and rest day to support the growth. It's not just all about workout, 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 and don't care about what you eat, don't sleep, all this, it doesn't work as well. So we always say muscles are made not in the gym, but in the kitchen and in bed. So the sleep is important. We'll talk about the sleep a bit more. Remind me of that. So when we work on our muscles, for example, you do your bicep curl to failure, you're actually creating little damage in the muscles, right? And over time, after exercise, you take your protein food so that gives it the ingredients to repair. You rest, make sure that you sleep more than 7 hours every night so that it could repair. Then it can grow stronger and bigger, right? So this is how it is. So if it's all work, I've seen so many friends who goes to the gym every day, but they don't care about what they eat. They're very stressed. They don't really rest or sleep. Even after 1 year, I've seen some don't even see a big difference in terms of their physics or even of their strength. They still don't have the strength because they don't have the ingredients for the muscles to repair, recover, and also rebuild. Okay, so that's very important. So two keys for muscle growth. One is enough protein. Of course, the other one is resistance training. And we know that the rest is also very, very important. So let's talk about sufficient protein, right? This is another area that's got a lot of misunderstanding, misconception, and discussion, right? Just like many people have their ideal workout that they want to do, how to train, what's the best way of training, what's the best way of eating, also invite a lot of debate, right? But today we're just going to talk about scientific-based, evidence-based information, plus of course our own experience in this area. Okay, so sufficient protein intake for healthy adults. If you are young adults, for general health, is 0.8 to 1.2 gram per kg of body weight. In fact, Health Promotion Board of Singapore only recommends 0.8 gram for people below 50 years old. All right, but if you look at the latest scientists who talks about longevity, talk about muscle, for example, Dr. Peter Attia, they will say that this 0.8 number is actually nonsense. Okay, he said outright that it's nonsense because it's really so little that you really only at the maximum for the very young adult could only maintain. There's no way that you can strengthen or grow muscles. Okay, if you are active lifestyle, the recommendation is 1.2 to 1.6 gram per kg of body weight. Those who do strength training or those who are under muscle currently, you want to build muscle mass, you need 1.6 to 2.2 gram. I suggest you aim at 2 grams per kg. That'll be an easy number to remember. For example, if you're 50 kg, if you want to increase your muscle mass, aim for 100 grams of protein a day. Okay, and for adults above 50 years old, the minimum just to help prevent muscle loss is 1.2 to 1.5 gram. Why? Why do you think that people above 50 needs a lot more than people who are younger, right? Just a few things we said just now, because number one, the body is breaking down more than it can build. So we need to put in more effort, more intake for it to build. And number two, even with that, the protein absorption rate and utilization will be lower than when we were younger. And number 3, the growth hormones, even the mTOR pathway, that when you have enough protein, the body can build muscle. This process is also slowing down as we age. That's why we always need more raw ingredients, okay, for the body to work. And spread the protein intake into 3 to 4 meals a day. Okay, if you need to take 2 times your body weight kind of protein, don't take it in one sitting. That's so much the body can absorb at one go. So try to spread it to 3 to 4 times a day so that the body can absorb. And every time, how much? To trigger the muscle protein synthesis, MPS. This is what we call the mTOR pathway, but I'm not going to bore you with the science because it's quite a complicated thing. What we really want to know is that you need 2 to 3 grams of leucine per meal to maximally stimulate your mTOR. Means if you are interested in growing muscle mass, you need 2 to 3 grams of leucine. What is leucine? Leucine is a essential amino acid. Okay, so if you take 20 to 30 grams of high quality protein per meal, it could be egg, dairy, fish, meat, soy protein, 20 to 30 grams, you would have enough leucine to trigger the growth of the muscle. So if you take, for example, you say, okay lah, Jeannie, I'm just going to take small meals. I take 5 meals a day, but every time it's only 10 grams of protein. 1 egg lah, even 2 eggs lah, it's not enough to trigger the mTOR. That's why while we can be eating sufficient protein, if it's too small at one intake, the muscles growth cannot be triggered. So I think that is the issue with a lot of our friends who are underweight, because they always say that they don't have the appetite to eat so much, right? But if they don't eat enough at one sitting, they cannot trigger the muscle growth. So this might be something that I want to share with our friends who desperately need to build muscle, who are really under muscle. Okay, so especially important for older adults who we already have a lot of anabolic resistance, right? The triggering is already slowing down, right? Because the body is a bit aged already. So we need 30 to 40 grams per meal of protein to trigger the mTOR. So how to get about 2.5 grams of leucine, about 3 eggs at one sitting, 100 grams of chicken breast, or you can also do 1 serving of excess whey protein. That will give you exactly 2.38 grams of leucine. Just nice. Okay, 2 to 3 grams to trigger the mTOR. That's why for me, as long as we have our whey protein, my routine is always after workout within 30 minutes, I will take 1 serving of whey protein. This is the best way. To me, it's the simplest way to maintain the muscle mass. Okay, so these are the other food that you can eat to have enough leucine. Salmon, okay, you need about 5 ounces, which is about 150 to 180 grams, 2 big pieces of salmon, right? Or 120 grams of chicken breast, beef, eggs. 2 eggs will only give you 1.1 gram of leucine. So you need about 4 eggs for this to happen, right? Whey protein, 1 scoop, 2.38 grams. If you want to go for plant-based protein, of course, you can do black beans, pumpkin seeds, edamame, and 2 scoops of our Nutrilite all-plant protein will give you 1.32 grams. It's 660 mg per scoop. 668 mg per scoop. So that's why usually in the morning when I take my protein as breakfast, I take 3 scoops. That gives me 2 grams. At least, meeting the border of sufficient leucine to maintain and to build muscle mass. So that's very important. Yes, I know that some people say that, I can't drink so much protein, but if you only take 1 scoop, right? It's not enough to trigger the muscle growth. We're only talking about muscle here, all right? So that's why if we can't eat so much, the meal replacement, the protein shake will come in to fill the gap. Okay, so this is the XS whey protein. It's our new love, just rolled out, I think 2 months ago, right? It consists all the essential amino acid, including the branch chain amino acid, and especially high in leucine. It also has got collagen peptide, to help boost the joint and tendon, because we know that as we work out, especially strength workout, we'll be working a lot on our joints. Okay, so it's important to repair, and it has got beta glucan as well to build immunity. There are friends who always fall sick after a workout, right? That's because the body immunity is not good enough to support. So beta glucan can support that immunity. So it's a 3-in-1 formula. It's very powerful to recover from workout. PDCAS1, body can absorb and make use of it 100%. 5.2 grams of branched-chain amino acid and 22.6 grams of protein. Okay, so this is what XS whey protein give us. Of course, whey is still animal-based. It's made of milk. For people who like to have plant-based or vegan, you can go for the XS muscle multiplier. This one gives us 3.5 grams of essential amino acid in every serving. It's vegan, it's sugar-free, lactose-free, no cholesterol, no fat. Right? So good for people who wants to go vegan. You can just take this. And the BCAA is in optimal ratio, which is 2:1 of leucine, isoleucine, and also valine. It also has got all the essential amino acid. But don't ask me how much of leucine, how much of valine, and how much of all the essential amino acid is, because this XS muscle multiplier is a very special proprietary formulation. So you know that there are 9 essential amino acids. So for XS muscle multiplier, it's arranged in a proprietary way. It's actually patented way whereby it supports muscle building specifically. That's why we don't eat other protein food 1 hour before and after taking this XS muscle multiplier. You see, whey protein 1 gram can give you 0.54 gram of muscle. 1 gram of branched-chain amino acid generally give you 0.005. But 1 gram of XS muscle multiplier can produce 1.94 grams of muscle. Right? Because of this scientific advancement, it's something like a biohack actually, that the scientists actually found that this special combination can specifically help the body to take up and build healthy muscle mass. So it's important for elderly, even if they don't exercise, they can still take the muscle multiplier just to maintain their muscle mass. I think it's very important. All right. Of course, you can also go for our all-plant protein, which is our staple, which is what many of us are taking on a daily basis already, right? It's got all the 9 essential amino acid as well, low calorie, no sugar, very low in fat. So it's also a formulation that is very clean and no burden to the kidney and the liver, right? That will give us as well. Of course, we also have flavored protein that you can go for if you like to have berries, green tea, or chocolate flavors. Okay, so this would be some of the formulations that you can do. Mainly today, I'm just going to focus you on muscle multiplier or whey protein, because we are focusing on building muscle, right? If you're building muscle, XS muscle multiplier or whey protein is the best that you can find. All right, so now we have already covered the different types of muscle, and we know that as we age, we are not losing muscle, we are losing muscle mass and energy because the muscle gets smaller. The muscle cells doesn't die off as we age, but it gets smaller and get weaker. That's why we want to do 2 things to feed it right. 1 is the resistance exercise. Number 2 is to have sufficient protein so that we maintain our healthy muscle mass for as long as we live. This is one of the best way to preserve our health span. All right. Okay, so remember our workout. Before you have any questions, if you have any questions, please ask in the chat. Before that, let me remind you again, join us for workout this Friday, Saturday, or on Monday. All right. You can get the link, a Zoom link from the person who invited you. You can just come and join us. And next week, we don't have our LiCo book club. Instead, we are going to learn about all these interesting ingredients: rutin, sanidin, something, gallic acid, allicin acid, and quercetin. So what can all these interesting plants give us? It gives us a new product which is called an eye cell drink. It goes into the cellular level to help the body to reverse aging, right? So this is exactly what's happening next Tuesday at 8:30. We have a nutrition trainer, a nutritionist from China, sharing with us in Mandarin. So if you like to attend this, this is a paid webinar. If you like to attend this, let the person who invited you here know so that you can come together and learn together from this very new product called iCell. All right. It's about cells, it's about cellular health, it's about anti-aging. And 5th of August, we'll be talking about the next part of the exercise, which is metabolism and heart health. How exercise can help to improve our metabolism and help with our heart as well, right? So meanwhile, let me know if you have any questions. Before we end our session, just see if you have any questions. Right? So I hope that we are all reminded the importance of resistance workout. Don't just go for the Zumba or the run, or just walking. Of course, these are all good that you can do. Any exercise is better than none. But please block out 2 to 3 sessions of 30 to 45 minutes for your resistance workout every week. Okay, this is to ensure that we keep our healthy muscle mass throughout our aging process, throughout our age, so that we can be active, not just active, mobile, but also powerful, right? We want to be all that as well. All right. So questions? Yes. And of course, we know that our muscles doesn't die away, doesn't reduce. It just reduce in size. It just get weaker and smaller. So regardless of your age, even if you are 60, 70, 80 years old, you can still train. So there's also a research paper to take, I think about 40 or 50 people who are already 70 years old and train them in 3 months. So even at 70 years old, just with regular training for 3 months, 2 times a week, they can still see about 9 to 10% increase in muscle growth. So it's definitely trainable. Nobody is too old, or at least nobody here is too old for it. All right. So put away the excuses, find time, just block it out. We know that we are all not athletes. We don't want to like outperform. We don't want to have all the pecs and the muscles. We also don't want to run or break world record. But we want to have our active lifestyle. We want to stay active. We want to go travel, go hiking, go walk, and be fit and be happy. I think that's very important, right? So join us for the workout if you have not done so. All right. And any questions? Yes. Thank you, Fu. Peihan said this is my fit after a trip with Jeannie in the chat. That's not true, okay? Although I'm generally known to be walking a lot on my trips. So yeah, we can organize some trips and go walk together as well. Oh yeah, our walk this Saturday. We don't have workout, but we have our LiCo fun walk. So please join us for the walk, all right? Let me see, where's my poster? All right. So join us. If you are not already, join us for the fun walk this Saturday. Oops, where am I? Okay, this Saturday, all right? You can register now. Just let the person who invited you in know. Salah. Okay, sorry, wrong picture. Please join us. I'll be going as well this Saturday. So looking forward to meet you all, right? Yes, so this is the one. All right, you can just scan the QR and join our LiCo Fun Walk, LiCo Fun Walk Telegram group. Yes. Thank you. Will whey protein cause diarrhea? Grace, why do you ask that? Generally, too much meat. Oh, okay.
There's one ABO asking. Yeah, so maybe I told her if she has she's allergic
Talking about
reaction to milk, it might cause
okay,
diarrhea.
okay. Talking about lactose intolerant.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I just told her if she has the allergy reaction to lactose, it might cause diarrhea, but I just want to
Generally,
confirm.
generally no, because for whey, the whey that's extracted, right? It shouldn't. People who are lactose intolerant usually will not have reaction to whey. But she can try it first with just maybe half a serving. Try it out first. Yeah. And then eating too much meat for dinner cause indigestions. Generally, yes, regardless of the food, as long as we are eating meat, animal-based protein, try to take it 3 to 4 hours before sleep so that the body has enough time to digest. You might not feel the indigestions, but you might feel that your stomach is actually working throughout the night, and you might have a lot of wind also throughout the night because the digestion is not well, because we are lying down, the digestion is not um effective enough. Yeah, so that might cause. So try not to take meat late into the night or 3 hours before sleep. All right. Any other
Thank
question
you.
on workout? If not, I hope to see some of you at least on this Saturday to come and walk Lower Pierce Reservoir together. And for all our walks, okay, going forward as well, our walks usually start at a train station and end at a food station. All right. So we always end our walk with a makan, with a brunch together. So that's always the motivating factor that keep us going. All right. Yes, Cynthia, are you joining this Saturday? Yes? Okay. Right. So anyone else has any question? If not, then I'm just gonna end the workshop today. Do check with the person who invited you for the next week's workshop, which is again is definitely very worth your time to invest in to learn about all these interesting herbal items, right? Plants. How does it affect our health at a cellular level? All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Good night.
Let's work out
Bye.
together. Yeah. Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Good night.
Thank you.
Good
Bye bye.
night.
Thank you.